Welcome, everybody, to this Spyro 2 bingo race. You are in for a show. I think, without further ado, we can already get on with the race. Derek, if you want to do the countdown.
Absolutely. All right, racers, are you ready?
Yeah, ready.
Yep. Okay, let's make sure we're not desynced. Reveal the code. Top left should be Popcorn 1 and Tractor Path. Do we see it?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
We do? Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. Good luck, everyone.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Here we go.
My name is Nitrof. I will be one of your commentators today.
Got 20 orbs, got bells.
And my name is Dereklander. I will also be the other commentator.
And here, the game is Spyro 2, and this is 2v2 Lockout Bingo. 2v2 Lockout Bingo means 2 teams of 2 players competing to claim as many goals as possible from the same bingo board. Once a goal is claimed by a team, the other team cannot claim it, which means, in our case, it means the first team to 13 goals, which is just over half the board, wins. The race just started. All runners are waiting through the introduction cutscenes. That takes about 3 minutes. Runners are seeing the same board as you see in the middle of your screen now for the first time, and are using this time to go through this board and come up with their initial strategies. Our runners in the red team, we have Silver and Zacharylawrence. On the blue team, we have Spudlyman and Wed. All 4 runners are very experienced and resourceful. They will come up with various strategies throughout this run. They also have played with and against each other numerous times, and at this point know very much how each other thinks by now.
Absolutely. And getting into the meat and potatoes of Spyro 2, let's go over the collectibles. In Spyro 2, there are 3 main types of collectibles. We have talismans, orbs, and gems. Talismans are going to be given to Spyro when he reaches the end of the first 2 hub world levels, kind of as a pat on the back to say, hey, you made it through the level, good job, you can progress. Orbs is going to be given for every side challenge and every kind of side mini-game, as the game calls them. But also, in the final hub world, Hub 3, the developers ran out of time to make new talismans, so instead of that, they would get orbs instead. So as we see in row 3, column 5, all end of level orbs basically just means, hey, in Hub 3, you gotta get through every level to claim that. And then the last collectible is going to be gems. You guys know Spyro for his gems, very, very well known. There is 10,000 gems in this game, 400 in each level, and some of these challenges will require runners to get gems and sometimes combine them in 2 levels. So as we see in row 5, column 5, 600 combined gems in Skelos and Shady. Basically, you gotta get 600 gems. You could do it either way you want. You could do 400 in Skelos, 200 in Shady, or you could do 300. The choice is up to you, but that is the 3 main collectibles in Spyro the Dragon 2. And we'll see how these runners decide to route out which ones they want to do and which ones they want to save for maybe later.
Thank you, Derek. I want to talk a bit more about the game itself. Of course, for most people at this point know that there was 3 Spyro games on the PlayStation. Why Spyro 2? Spyro 2 is the only game of the 3 that in which you can basically skip directly to the end of the game as soon as the run starts. Of course, it takes a little bit of time, in our case 10 minutes, but it does mean that the entire bingo board is accessible very early on. However, as I said, 10 minutes, it's a time sink. So most often what we'll see is that both teams will select one runner that will get to that end game early and start working on those end goals and basically split their efforts across the goals that way. Of course, sometimes it changes, but we'll be able to see soon enough if they follow that pattern or not. Now that everything is said, we can already start analyzing the run and the board. 3 of the runners went directly to the end of Glimmer and are already progressing towards later goal, whereas Spudlyman did a bit of stuff in Glimmer, but not too
Broad
much.
Proxy coming in hot from good old Wed, bottom right. That is a beautiful, beautiful proxy to start this off. And Wed's going to take the lead in terms of the rush. In Spyro 2 Bingo, we call it the rush because if there's not a whole lot of challenges in this first home world, most runners will decide to skip it. So we see both runners clip inside the door and get inside Crush, who will be the first boss of the run, and you do have to do to get into Autumn Plains, which is Hub 2.
What we usually do here when analyzing the board the first time is starting to mark all the goals that require Winter Tundra. Winter Tundra is the third hub, and that is basically what the rush leads to. We have row 1, column 1 and 3, row 2, column 1, 2, and 5. I won't enumerate them all, but I count 6, 8, 10 goals on this board that require Winter Tundra, on top of a few where Winter Tundra is useful. So actually, I will say we will definitely see both teams selecting a runner to Winter Tundra, but we actually might see both teams having both their runners enter Winter Tundra, despite the time sink that it takes to get there, because Winter Tundra is so valuable.
Absolutely. And right now we have the first boss of the run. He is Crush. He is very simple for speedrunners, unless you are going for skill points, which isn't on this board. You are basically going to get hit him, because once he hits you, he becomes vulnerable, and then you're going to pick up a sheep. Spyro is a very forgiving game, so it gives you enough sheeps to where you could actually just take all of his hits, and as long as you get that fodder sheep, come back and do it again, you'll be fine. And right now we see that ZL will be the first one who is leaving Crush. Kind of behind is going to be Wed. Not much though, maybe a second or two. And we'll see what they elect to do. They can now decide if they want to just rush for Hub 3 or if they want to go for some of the goals in Autumn Plains, which is Hub 2.
Yeah, I suspect what we will see is one of the players will rush directly to Winter Tundra because of how valuable it is, but getting everyone to Winter Tundra right away is probably not the right move, considering, you have to think. When you are in the situation that our runners is on, you have to think about what the other team might do. And there are goals that you can quickly get right away if you want. But looking at the red team right now, both are doing climb skip. In fact, ZL is already done with climb skip and already heading into gulp skip.
Oh, gulp skip, sorry. Gulp skip and was
now Silver, I think, is going into Fracture Hills as a first level. Yes. That is unusual. But you can probably see, row one, column 2 has George and Fawn. Fawn is one of the Fracture Hills orbs. There is a supercharged power-up in Fracture Hills. I think it requires 14, yes, and we do have a 14 power-up goal, row 3, column 3. So you can start to understand what those guys are thinking.
Absolutely, and we see beautiful gulp skips coming from ZL and Wed. Those are first tries, by the way, and the gulp skip is a pretty difficult trick. It was actually found by Tuval, shout out to Tuval, back in 2013. And without Gulp Skip, we would have not been able to skip basically all of the Talisman in Homeworld 2 as well as Homeworld 1. And this bingo simply would not be the beast it is today. So humongous shout out to Tuval for finding that skip and also keeping, making Spyro 2 bingo possible. We appreciate it very, very much.
Some of the goals on the board require a bit more explanation. You see something like use all fireball power-ups. It's important to understand the exact rule here. Some levels have fireball power-ups, of course, but some levels have more than one, and in those levels you have to trigger each of those power-ups individually. Same thing for use all 14 power-ups. You'll need to use all the power-ups in all levels where the power-up count is 14, number of enemies you need to unlock the power-ups. Other goals, buy, climb, and head bash just require you to pay money bags. I don't see many stranger goal, like sometimes we have
we have talk to Zoe 9 times or something.
Talk to Zoe 9 times.
Yeah.
Stand on 5 portals you own the talisman for is one of the possible goals, and that one is rooted in some meme history type thing. I won't get into it, but if you're interested about it, you can also join the community Discord and ask about it.
Also, looking at the stream, it seems that Spudlyman and Wed might be swapped because Wed is currently doing the gulp fight, and on the stream it shows that Spudly is doing the gulp fight, so we'll need to get that swapped around. Sorry about that, guys. Nonetheless, we're going to see what Mr. Silver is doing in Fracture Hills. Fracture Hills does line up with the challenge row 1, column 2, Fawn and George, but it looks like Silver is actually going to be 100%ing it, and that's because of the challenge row 4, column 2, which is all gyms in Fracture Hills. So if Silver moves quickly enough, Silver could be the one who strikes first on the board.
I think I've finally come up with a way.
And after that, we see that Spudlyman is going to... Ooh, Zephyr! Zephyr. Spudly is a big fan of his challenge coming up. Row 1, column 4. Plant all seeds in Zephyr. Spudly has said to us multiple times that this is one of their favorite challenges. And even if it's not the quickest challenge or necessarily optimal, they will go for it because they know it very well. And not only that, but it also goes with a lot of other things. If you can find another challenge in here, which that 2 power-up is a fireball one, so it will combine with another challenge.
In Cowlex, it looks like he's going to be doing
Cowlex,
which I'm seeing row 2, column 5, Cowlex and UFOs 2, which already says to us that Spudly, although he's not doing the rush quite yet, does plan on heading into Winter Tundra at some point during the run, which for me is confirmation that blue team here follows my prediction.
Yep. We see that Silver is going to finish up Fracture Hills, assuming Silver has not missed a gym, will be the first one on the board, is missing the gym, but luckily in this game, there is a good change in this game compared to Spyro 1. There is a thing called Spokes Tracker, where you can have Spokes point to the last remaining gym. So as a kid, you might have gotten stuck on trying to get some of the last gyms, but in Spyro 2, they decided to help out and save you a lot of time, which we greatly appreciate. And it looks like Silver is just trying to find the green gym. Silver finds it, and Silver's going to have the first challenge done on the bingo and is going to murk it. And oh no, Spud!
And
Spud actually snipes it.
Won by Spud. I had not seen that. There's actually 2 Cowlex goals, which I suppose is a real breather for our runners, because Cowlex 2 takes a lot of time, but having another goal that just requires Cowlex 1 makes it a lot more digestible.
Yeah, and also the reason I was freaking out was because Spud got that. And I thought for sure Silver would be the first one on the board, but it's not. It's actually holding off. This is a legitimate strategy in bingo. If you feel like you have done a challenge or done a goal that no one else has done, and you want to wait 5, maybe even longer to mark off the goal just to possibly waste the other team's time, that is perfectly legal and perfectly fine. So we see that Silver has done that goal but hasn't marked it off yet.
However, it's a risky move, because if another team happened to complete the same goal early, while you're holding off, the rule for who gets the goal isn't based on who finishes the goal first. It's who claims the goal first after finishing it.
Yes.
So this could turn out to be a problem for Silver if he waits too long before marking it.
Absolutely. It is a risk and reward. Silver right now is reaping the reward so far because no one else is close to that challenge, so Silver's not in any risk yet. We'll see as the race progresses if someone decides to head over there and to see if Silver can snipe some of their time. Meanwhile, we have 2 players, one from red, one from blue, both in Robotica Firms. Robotica Firms has the challenge row 2, column 1, 100% Robotica Firms, and also combines with row 1, column 1, Tractor Path. Tractor Path Orb Challenge, is going to be where you get a supercharge and you destroy all the pumpkins. But in 100, and also what some of our runners have now, when you have Fireball, you can just shoot at the oranges and just destroy them. You don't even have to use the supercharge if you don't want to, except for the indoor section. That note.
2 players in Robotica Farms. I believe they're must be a goal here. All orbs and Robotica farms, 100% Robotica farms. Some kind of weird double goal. Usually you see either 100%, either all orbs or all gems, but sometimes you see a double, which makes, it's a very strong synergy, which I guess brings me to talk about synergy. We probably brought up the word a couple times. It, of course, means how multiple goals play together. You saw earlier, we talked about Cowlex 1 and Cowlex 2 having synergy together. Now, all orbs and Robotica farms probably synergizing, yes, with 100% Robotica farms. You have all gems, Georgian Fawn and all gems in Fracture Hills having some synergy.
Right.
And speaking of which, Silver still not marking off either of those goals.
No, Silver is holding off. Silver wants to waste some of Blue's time, has a feeling that Blue must not be going for them. Bad news for Wed, though. Wed had to dip out of Robotica farms because Zio spoiled to Wed that since it was such a close race, Zio did get all orbs in Robotica, which basically tells Wed, hey, if he has all orbs, and there it is, he's going to get to 100% very soon after. And Wed, realizing this, has decided to dip and get a head start into Metropolis. So right now the score is going to be 2-2, dead even, but Silver, being the sneaky one he is holding out on at least one challenge that he has done. We see that it looks like ZL is also going to be handling Metropolis, so the play by Wed to dip out early and get a head start in Metropolis might result in a reverse snipe where Wed got sniped in Robotica. Wed might snipe ZL in Metropolis. So, a little back and forth there. Now see that Spudly...
What do we have in Metropolis even? There is a dual power-up in Metropolis, which does not count for Fireball power-up or Superfly if it was in there. There is... That dual power-up is a one enemy power-up, which also doesn't count there. So Metropolis is going to be there almost exclusively for the orbs here. UFOs 2, row 2, column 2, and there we go. Silver finally marking up those goals that he'd been
Silver has been sneaky the whole time with two of those goals just waiting. Decides to mark them while entering Colossus. Good news and bad news. The good news is that Silver did get those goals. Silver didn't let someone snipe him on them. Bad news is that it didn't have the intended effect. Blue team did not try any of those goals. So definitely a good play by Silver. Just Blue team did not take the bait.
And here Spudlyman entering Gulp, I think. Yes. So Blue team finally readying up to double up on Winter Tundra goals. While on the red team, it seems they probably have decided at this point, let's do the usual strategy. One person does Winter Tundra, the other person does the rest of the goal. I haven't seen Silver pick up any goal that requires Winter Tundra yet.
Nope.
So
I believe Silver is going to be the one staying back for most of this, getting the earlier level challenges, while ZL does the later ones. Bad news for ZL, though, is that ZL has just done the UFOs, which is good for the challenge row 2, column 3 for 20 orbs, but Wed is already gone. Wed has already done those UFOs, and if ZL was looking to get row 2, column 5, Cowlex 2 and UFOs 2, might get sniped on that by Wed. So we will see. Oh, also the challenge, row 2, column 2, 5+ orbs in Cloud Temples in Metropolis. That's what Wed is heading to now. Zio is probably heading there as well. Yeah, and Zio, bad news for Zio. Zio sniped Wed out of maybe a minute or two. Wed, if Wed gets this off, is going to snipe Zio of like 5 minutes. And that is huge for Bingo. That is a huge snipe to be a victim of. Oh, and Zio missed the portal.
It wouldn't be all lost, because remember, there is synergy. The time that you spend on the 5+ orbs in those 2 levels still counts for something like 20 orbs, for something like Bells and Ox, which are, by the way, 2 orbs in those 2 levels. So it's not all lost, you just need to make sure that you capitalize on what you have left for what you've done so far.
Absolutely. And we see that Wed is going to be doing Cloud Temples. Definitely get that challenge done. Right now, Wed, definitely a good, I'd say 30 seconds ahead of Zio. Also collecting gems. Is there anything about... Oh, there's also row 5, column 3. 100% Cloud Temples. So
yeah.
Wed's going to snipe Zio on possibly 2 ghouls. Depending on when they get murked, and also when will Zio get the... Oh, Zio!
And that is something, I guess, because by marking up that... Zio marked off early as soon as he got the all orbs and Robotica farms. He marked it up early, announcing to the other team, hey, I'm in Robotica farm. And then Wed knew, okay, he still has to get a few more things for 100%. I can beat him to the punch for the rest of this. But ZL has no idea where Wed is. So ZL is currently
bells and ox. There you go.
Zio's
going to get some bad news. But the thing about Zio is Zio must know that Wed must have been close, because Zio isn't going for 100%. Zio has left gems behind and is just trying to beat Wed on the orbs. And Zio does! Zio beats Wed on the orbs, so Wed will not get the true snipe that had the potential for it, but does get him on Bells and Ox, and will definitely get him in 100%. So a very close race between these two runners, both thinking the exact same route.
Meanwhile, on Spudly's side, I suspect we will see him enter Metropolis soon enough. I don't know if he'll do that before or after getting Fireball, which I suppose is something we should talk about.
Oh, yes.
The rush to the end of the game here didn't just give them the ability to enter and complete those Winter Tundra goals, but you also get the ability to enter Dragon Shores. And from within Dragon Shores, if you look at Spudlyman's screen right now, you will see him go out of bounds in Dragon Shores and trigger the infinite Fireball power-up from out of bounds, giving him essentially what you normally get from 100%
eyes on
the
Wed
game.
screen. Not Wed screen, Spudlyman screen. Sorry about that. Spudly's going to show you exactly how it's done. Once we get over this wall, like nitrof said, we can get the permanent Fireball power-up. And once we get that, a lot of the challenges in Spyro 2 become a lot easier because you can definitely take shortcuts with them.
No, I feel bad for bringing attention to Spudlyman. He's struggling a bit.
Hey,
there it is.
It's over. And we need to watch out, though, because there is a potential. I won't say it until it's done. Okay, there is a potential to soft lock the game right there if you charge
Not
into the
just a soft lock.
Crash.
Good old crash.
Yeah, you can crash the game right there if you charge into the water, because since you're out of bounds and because you can't normally swim in Dragon Shores, the game doesn't know how to handle it and freaks out. Also, ZL, in the meantime, did snipe Wed on another challenge. We just missed it. All end-of-level orbs. Wed was in Mystic Merge trying to get that, and Zio just beat him to it. And both of these runners, Zio and Wed, have been doing the exact same route, which is actually kind of unheard of in Spyro 2 Bingo. Usually you have some, run-ins, but usually not to this degree. I'd say these two runners have been doing the exact same route since we've started. And it might continue, yeah, because I think Wed is heading over to Magma Cone, and Zio is already at Magma Cone. So they're still continuing to race each other for these quicker goals.
Also worth pointing out here, we have a 7-3 lead for Red, but it is not over. We could very well see a comeback from Blue.
Absolutely.
In fact, I'm expecting a comeback from Blue because we have had only close races in practice.
Yeah.
We've rarely had a race that ended with like a difference of more than like three or four points.
And we see that Spudly is going to be in Metropolis, though. What could Metropolis have for you, Mr. Spudly? Oh, Cowlix 2 and UFOs 2, possibly.
Silver marked up 100% Summer Forests just now, is currently working on All Gems and 3 Speedways, which also synergizes with Row 3, Column 4, 1000 Summer Forest Gems. After this Speedway in 100% Summer Forest, he would only need 200 gems in another level in Summer Forest to achieve this goal, which is something every runner here can do pretty quickly.
Also, bad news for the blue team. Sadly, does not stop there. Wed has been sniped again on another challenge. Popcorn 1 and Tractor Path. Wed was also going to do that, but since Zio had a 10-second lead, was just able to get popcorn quicker. And Wed has basically been sniped at least 3 or 4 times this race, so very unfortunate. Meanwhile, we see Silver doing the speedways. A lot of bingo runners will leave the speedways kind of to last, but Silver doesn't mind doing them. Silver says, hey, most people won't do this challenge. It's going to be hard to get sniped. I'll do it. Meanwhile, we see that Spudly did do UFOs 2 in Metropolis, which does mark off Cowlix 2 as well. Now the
Silver doing some quick maths to figure out how many more gems he needs.
Using that guidebook. Got the number in his head. He's ready to go.
Now we have Wed and Mystic Marsh, probably going for all gems in Mystic Marsh. And is there something else?
Also,
20 orbs perhaps, though I doubt it. Most orbs in Mystic Marsh are on the slower side.
I must admit, when it comes to Cloud Temples, though, we seem to have had a bait maybe on both teams, since Zio beat Wed on the orbs, and since Wed beat Zio on the the bells. Both of them assumed the other one was gonna 100% the level, and both of them had left it. Row 5, column 3 is not murked, and if I'm not mistaken, both of them got scared of each other and fled it. So they will have to come back to the level. Good news for Wed is that Wed almost had it 100%ed, but just assumed Zio must have been close. Zio was not close. So that will be a goal that could definitely go in Blue's favor if they do have to go back to that level. But yeah, they both intimidated each other, it seems.
Meanwhile, we have Spudlyman now in Scorch. Scorch has an 18 power-up, which is in the top right corner here, and I'm pretty sure that's the only thing he's looking for here.
Yep.
Actually, no, it is both an 18 power-up and a Fireball, power-up. So that will work for him for both row 1, column 5 and row 5, column 2. For those who are maybe not 100% familiar with this game, the way you unlock power-ups is by killing a few enemies and then waiting for that enemy spirit, or the last of those enemy spirits, to reach the power-up gate.
In this game,
right. Is it an 18 power-up? I was convinced it was an 18 power-up, but it looks like I might be wrong.
18 power-up? No, it's not.
Real quick.
It's just a fireball.
It is a 20 power-up, so it only will be for row 5, column 2. Apologies for the mistake.
Very tough. Yeah, it's a good point. In other Spyro games, Spyro 3 and Spyro 1, if you're familiar with those games, when you defeat an enemy, you get a gem. In Spyro 2, you get their spirit, and their spirit, once you have defeated enough of them, you can unlock a spirit power-up, which can be permanent fireball, it can be a spring power-up, and, invincibility in some of the later levels, ice, just anything. And that's
There's the 1,000 Summer Forest gems we were waiting for.
Yep, silver.
Marking the 10th goal marked for Red Team. It looks grim for Blue, but we're still holding out hope that they will do a good comeback, snipe all the goals away from Red Team.
Yep. Luckily, Spudlyman does have 2 goals cooking in the oven, so hopefully gets that done. And then after that, we see that Wed has distanced himself from Zio, so we might... Oh, yep, we see 100%. Nope, all gems in Mystic Marsh. I was trying to find it.
All gems in Mystic Marsh. 5th goal for Blue.
Now, if you're Blue in this instant, this sadly becomes a little tricky, because you need to not only start getting a few more goals done, but you need to go on the, I'd say, offensive. You need to start sniping the other team, because there are 3 goals away. Also, bad news for Blue team. Zio has just gotten 20 orbs, and Zio does not hesitate. Zio is not as sneaky as Silver. And once Zio achieves a goal, it's getting murked. So that is now 11-5 as Zio enters Colossus.
Another fireball power-up for Spudlyman. I think that's what he's focusing on at the moment.
Yeah. And Red Team right now is just on fire. We saw Zio earlier hit that swim in air out of bounds. We saw Silver get a bunch of challenges where no one else really thought to go there. Red team, I'd say, is on fire right now. It is up to blue team to extinguish it. And right now we see Wed does go back to Cloud Temples to 100% it. Realized that must have scared each other off, so Wed knows can get this one. Meanwhile, Silver gets the spring power up. And that's going to be the next goal.
That's a 12th goal for Red team. 1 goal away from victory.
1 goal away from victory, and this is going to be grim. A comeback of this proportion would be extremely, extremely impressive. We see that, and it's even more grim because Silver has been the only one doing speedways, and that goal right there, row 2, column 4, all gyms and 3 speedways. That's going to get marked off here soon. So Silver needs to basically choke and needs to mess up a little bit to give us a chance to catch up.
But unfortunately, there's no way this would happen. We have to face the fact here. Silver has a 2-speedway advantage over the others. The only way he would somehow not get that goal is if he decided to just not
be sneaky. Be sneaky on the game point.
Everyone's going for the victory
I mean, you could always be sneaky on the game point, you know? I mean, might bait blue into wasting. That's just so mean. I can't even condone that. That'd just be so mean to stall it. Meanwhile, we see that Wed has 100% Cloud Temples. And we see that Silver is getting this challenge done. ZL looks like is having fun. Spudlyman, bad news, needs to save and needs to quit because it's stuck inside Aquaria Towers.
Yeah, it looks like Silver only had 1 speedway. Again, apologies for my mistake. It's really hard to keep track of 4 screens at once. So his next destination here is most likely going to be Icy Speedway. Just a quick trip to get the last speedway he needs for this goal, which does give blue a chance to at least make a bit more of a comeback, clear out more goals, and get a bit more of the board colored in blue.
Yep, and we see indeed. Oh, it looks like Wed is going to at least try to snipe Red on the on the speedway goal, going inside Canyon Speedway. Bad news is we know for sure now that Silver does have a 2-speedway advantage. And Icy Speedway, not the easiest one to do, but not difficult enough that I would expect a 5-minute time loss.
And I think in Spudlyman's screen right now, we are seeing the first of Skill's Badlands today.
We indeed are, and that's going to be row 5, column 5, starting that challenge.
A goal that clearly no one was interested in because Skill's Badland and Shady were both didn't have any synergy. I guess that Shady had synergy with the 18 power-ups, but that's it. Skill's Badlands was just on its own here.
Also, Zio has stopped moving, is kind of just messing around.
Zio has ignited the 4th rocket, marking the 13th goal, and that is victory for Red. A bit late on the realization there, but that is it.
We were way behind on that, actually. Chat beat us to it, I believe. Chat beat us to it. Huge apologies. What a match.
Congratulations to our runners.
Red team played out of their mind. And not only that, but the snipes coming in from Zio. Zio sniped blue team in like 4 goals. And if you sway those 4 goals evenly, it becomes a closer match. So very well played by Red team, going for goals that no one else would pick and putting ZL in the position where he can snipe goals from others. That will do it. We are way underestimate.
That was a very quick board.
We
usually get around 40 minutes. And looks like this was, 32.
This was actually
one of the quicker ones we've seen, despite how winter tundra heavy this board was.
Quicker, I think, is an understatement. I think this is the quickest one we've had. including every practice session like we've done since the announcement. This was insanely quick. Red team was playing out of their minds, to say the least. And yeah. Oh wow. Any final shoutouts?
All right, what an excellent showcase of Spyro 2 Ripto's Rage. I just cannot believe how quick that particular board ended up being. It even caught me by surprise, but we had a number of lovely comments come in shouting out Spyro and his various speedrunning communities. Wanted to give a read to this one here, which is a $5,000 donation from Stump, who says, let's just say that I have very good reasons involving a late family member to donate this much towards cancer prevention. Thank you for everything that GDQ does. Special shout outs to the Spyro and Crash communities for being a big part of my adventures in speedrunning. Thank you very much for your donation, Stump. And for everyone out there, we are going to take a just a moment here. 1 second. And we are going to take a few moments here to stretch. Make sure if you are keeping up that you are stretching, staying hydrated, and doing everything you need to take care of yourself. And we will see you on the other side in just a few short moments. All right, welcome back to Awesome Games Done Quick 2023 online. We are out here raising funds for the Prevent Cancer Foundation. And did you know that you could be using your donations for the Prevent Cancer Foundation towards particular incentives? Might I suggest the neon white Rainbow Heavens Rush run that could be tacked on to the end of this upcoming neon White's Heavens Rush run. A lot of people are donating towards wanting to get that met. For example, Noise Tank JGR donated $200 to say, let's get that neon white run in. We also have $50 from Anonymous that says, super hyped to see neon white in this marathon. Let's get that Rainbow Heaven Rush run and more AGDQ. You won't want to miss it. I agree. I am very much looking forward to this run, and I cannot wait to see the Rainbow Heaven Rush incentive met. $100 comes in from Blue Frog Gem, who writes, let's get Neon White's Rainbow Heaven Rush incentive met. P.S. You Love Me donates $50 and saying, Neon White was absolutely my game of the year last year, and I'd love to see Rainbow Rush destroyed at GDQ. Let's meet that incentive. $25 comes in from Fushi, who writes, longtime watcher, first-time donor here. So excited to see Neon White at GDQ this year. Putting my donation towards that Rainbow Heaven Rush incentive. It's a hypnotic game to watch, and you'll definitely want to see this. Trust me. Good luck to all of the runners, and big thanks to the event crew. Keep on being awesome. No, you, Fushi. Kiefer Skunk donated $100 saying, my wife and I have been watching AGDQ for several years now. It's one of the highlights of our year. This donation is dedicated to our sweet old farm dog Penny, who has beaten cancer twice, and to our cat god of war Specchio, who is fighting it now. In honor of all the beloved pets in our lives who have succumbed to cancer, we'd like to ask everyone to start a $5 train to support PCF and all of the great work they do. Save the frames, save the animals. Could not agree more with Kiefer Skunk here. Let's get a $5 train going in memory of Penny and Specchio and anyone who has had to deal with cancer of any kind. It's touches so many lives. Let's continue to raise funds for this excellent, excellent cause. Seeing a little bit of love pour in from that Spyro run as well, of course. $50 from Young Nanner, who writes in with a, wowie, that was a spicy Spyro bingo. Now we got to speed run that neon white goal. Go fast, cute chat. Let's go, cute chat. Let's go. Becky Chan writes in with a $50 donation to say, Spyro 2 was the first Spyro speed game I remember watching back in 2015. You're all fire, and you opened up so many doors for me becoming a part of this amazing community and participate in events myself. Thank you so much. Less than 3. Just received a $50 donation from Kevin, who writes, super hyped for Neon White. Let's see if we can get this incentive unlocked. Can we do it, chat? I think we can do it. I think we can do it. We have a lot of Neon White action to come, and let's use that as an opportunity to see even more Neon White action and extend this excellent event even further. The Jaded Mew donated $50 and says, Neon White is my game of the year 2022, so I want to see more of it. Looking forward to the run regardless. I hope everyone enjoys one of the best games recently released. Hashtag Neon Sweep. Thank you so much for your donation. Let's get it going, gang. We are approaching it rapidly. Let me just do a quick refresh and see exactly where we're at. 18,600 out of the $25,000 needed. Just need a nice little 6.5 more thousand, and we will be extending this even further. Well, I don't. Well, I don't know about y'all. That was indeed a very, very spicy and very, very entertaining Spyro 2 Ripto's Range 2v2 Lockout Bingo. And I want to hear a little bit more about the thought processes from the runners themselves. So let's hear it from them in a nice little interview.
Hello, and thank you, Konception. Hello, I'm Kunfufruitcup. You may have just seen me on the recap, but you know what? I had to be around here now because I was so excited to see this Spyro 2 2v2 lockout bingo, which is kind of a mouthful if you say like the whole with the Ripto's Rage. Anyway, I'm here with the four runners who were involved in this, which is Silver, zacharylawrence, Spudlyman, and Wed. What's up, guys? Very excited to speak with you about this bingo that just happened. And congratulations to the red team. It was quite a journey. So first of all, we had Team Blue getting ahead. They were first on the board, going for some good goals, and then Red just started to kind of come and say, like, you know what, I'm going to go for some similar goals and kind of sniping. We got a little bit of sniping going on to then take the lead toward the end. So I kind of wanted to go maybe team by team and get some thoughts from you all. So then starting with the blue team, because you all had the lead in the first little bit. We had that awesome frog proxy like right away. I know that was Wed. I know you were saying that you felt like you played pretty well. Like, what were your thoughts going into it? Like, what was your kind of communication at the beginning?
You go ahead, Spud.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll go. Okay, so our plan initially, we saw the board, as I'm sure the commentators mentioned, as a whole lot of Winter Tundra in it, which is the third homeworld. Typically in a bingo, we try to split. Usually Wed goes to the end game. I stay at the beginning. They're like, there's so much Winter Tundra that I'm going to do a little bit and then try to get to the end game too to help Wed out there. But I think that might have been to our detriment. But that was our initial plan going in. Was I saw some Zephyr. Oh no.
Alrighty, we're just gonna hang out for a little bit. It's no problem. Let me pause my timer. Hello, we're here. We are here.
Oh.
We're here. No worries. It's happening. Things are happening.
Oh,
We're getting
the blue Spyro.
We're getting audio fixed. Blue Spyro's back. Hang on a second.
I see my like it's not muted on my side. I don't know what to say.
All right. We appreciate your patience while we got some things corrected here on the back end, but we are going to go ahead and take it away over to our interview with the incredible Spyro 2 runners.
Alrighty, okay, we are back. Let's officially back. No worries, we're here. We're talking to you. We are getting back into the info on this run. Okay, Spudlyman, we were chatting with you about going into the tundra, splitting things up with Wed, trying to catch up, figuring out your strats.
Yeah.
Get us back into it.
Okay, so I'll assume that people didn't hear a lot of what I said, but very quickly, Winter Tundra, we both decided to rush Winter pretty early rather than splitting half and half like we usually would. And that was sort of our plan going into it, and why I picked the first 2 goals that I did is because they kind of line up with a third goal in Winter Tundra, which I ended up getting. But then it didn't really pan out as well from there, and Silver sort of had free reign over a lot of the longer Summer Forest goals, which was that's the first homeworld. That was a little rough.
Yeah.
Sorry. Piggybacking a little bit off of what Spud was saying before, the goal along there was to kind of go with Calyx 2, UFOs 2, and Biclam and Headbash as Biclam and Headbash was going to be like the ultimate like long-term goal, while I worked a lot more towards like the actual like sitting around, staying in Winter Tundra, working on the longer goals in there that would require attention pretty much immediately.
That makes sense. Okay, so that's good. It's really good again to like get the thoughts of like how you're going to split it up, how you're going to do it. So I'm kind of curious for then the red team. I know that they got a few goals first on the board, but then you're able to kind of catch up. But some of it was like by going with similar routes. And then what would you say for you, zacharylawrence and Silver Lake? What were your thoughts going in, especially once you saw those first goals up? What was going through your minds?
Go ahead. Yeah, so we had a very similar conversation during the opening cutscenes, talking about, okay, are we going to both go to Winter Tundra? And at first I absolutely thought I would be going as well, but then I just sort of had a route start forming that went into Autumn Plains, did one level, and then as I started getting some gems, I thought, oh, got some gems, I can... by swim, I can do spirit statues and dinos. Oh, now I can get Summer Forest gems. I just sort of stayed there the whole time while Zach was just raining chaos on the blue team's plans.
Yeah.
So it just, at least for us, it wasn't what I ended up doing wasn't the original plan, but it just ended up working out really well.
Right.
Sorry, go ahead.
No worries. I just noticed that you were getting on all those speedways as well, which is something that, based on the commentary, is something that you tend to take over. You don't mind doing those, which kind of gave you like that final push that you needed right at the end there. So, not a bad call for you to kind of like take an alternate path. If you see something forming ahead of you, it's really not a bad time to like just go with it, So then with ZL, for you, what was what were your thoughts as you were kind of fighting back and forth with Wed over those goals?
Well, I had a really good boss rush. So I got to Winter Tundra like as fast as I could, like faster than I've ever done in a bingo match. So I figured I probably had time to do all of Robotica. My first thought going there was to just do the orbs and then get out. Actually, well, my first thought in the opening cutscenes was to do the entire Cloud Temples Metropolis thing, which was like 3 goals, but it was over 2 levels. So I figured I'll just go to Robotica, start that, and then move into them, and it just kind of worked from there. I mean, I realized pretty quickly that 100%ing Cloud was going to take way too long. So I just I did Bells, and then I got my 5 orbs there, and then I skipped Marsh entirely. I didn't want to do the gems there, so...
That's fair.
It's kind of just any goal that I thought would take me more than 3 minutes to do, I just ignored entirely.
Interesting.
I just let whatever blue team wasn't going to do, I just decided to pick up after that.
Right. And you just happened to be fortunate enough to kind of like get back ahead of Wed as you were going along, and you just decided to pick the same path over and over, which kind of led to your advantage. Now I'm curious for you, Wed, kind of what is like the plan? Because I know you started to deviate. It was just kind of after several goals had already been met. So like, what's like the plan when you see things like that happening for like, okay, we're clearly going in the same place. How do I make sure that I'm going to do something different at this point?
My goal at that point is to try to get back ahead of where he is so I can start sniping goals back generally.
Okay.
So every time that one of these happened, first of all, I was doing all orbs in Robotica as well. Like I was in Robotica at the same time. I was doing a little bit of extra gem pickup, which I learned I really shouldn't have been doing, thinking like, okay, these are at least somewhat on the way. I can at least do these. Turned out to be a terrible idea. As soon as I saw that you got all orbs in Robotica, I was like, okay, I have to leave. He probably did the 100% route, knowing him. And within 15 seconds, he finished the level. So I knew yes, which meant that I had the leg up on the Metropolis orbs and was like, okay, I got this. I got through. I did bells. I did ox. And I had 5 orbs and I forgot to click the goal.
Oh no!
Yeah, we had that one. That was rough.
Well, I know, like
then I screwed up the Agent Zero warp near the end of Cloud Temples. Didn't end up getting the end level orb there, and also forgot that I didn't get that, and started going to Mystic Marsh, thinking, okay, I need to get end level orbs before he'll get it, and I did a little bit of gem pickup, thinking that he was maybe doing 100% Cloud because I was kind of playing into ZL Psyche and knowing that he likes to go with combined goals a lot, which ended up once again being a detriment. And I was like, okay, maybe he's doing all gems in Mystic Marsh. So then I head to Popcorn, and then he beat me to Popcorn.
Yeah, it was rough.
We went back to Winter Tundra knowing, finally, there is no way in heck he is going back.
Yeah, it just happened to be the switch up. The switch up happened, I guess. And, you know, and I've noticed that, like, Silver, you didn't always, like, hit your goals at first to see if you could do a little baiting. And, you know, it's like, it's really like a play to see, like, oh, do I wait to click on the goal or not? Or if you, like, don't remember to hit it, or you think you have time, like, you really never know. And that can really make a difference in this run. But regardless, you all did really, really amazing. Now, before I let you go, I know you want to do, let's do 2 quick, really quick shout outs for, let's see, the Spyro speedrunning community and then Bingo-thon. Just give us like a quick heads up on that.
All you, Silver.
All right, sure. If you liked what you saw, if you want to get some more into the Spyro speedrunning community, there's a very large community. You just go to speedrun.com/Spyro. You'll get all the Discord links, all the resources, all the leaderboards, everything's there for you. Everything to get started. And if you liked Bingo in particular, there's an event on Twitch called Bingo-thon. If you're interested in that, you can follow with them, get into that community, and see bingos for most of your favorite games. You'd be surprised how many are out there.
Absolutely.
So if you liked what you saw, feel free to follow up with those communities, and maybe you'll find a new passion or a new hobby.
Perfect. And please give these 4 runners follows as well. They did fantastic jobs today with this lockout bingo. Love bingos. They're so much fun. It's always a little something different every time you watch. So please go give them some love. And thank you all so much for joining us and bearing with us this evening. I can't wait I'll probably talk about this on the recap tomorrow. So you'll hear more about it then. But yes, thank you for being with us. And I'm going to let you all go enjoy Neon White coming up next. I'm going to hand it back up to Konception for now. And everybody take care. Have a good night. And we'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Thank you so much to Kunfufruitcup and the whole crew behind that Spyro 2 run. It was indeed incredible. Just as a reminder, let me do a quick refresh here to see how close we are to hitting that Rainbow Heaven Rush incentive. And we are creeping closer. We are currently at about 20,500 out of 25,000 needed. Just about 4,500 left to getting that met. And I want to see some extra neon white action. Let's get it done. And there are plenty of you out there want to see some extra neon white as well. We have a $50 donation from Tordana saying, been looking forward to this neon white run since it was announced. Feel the rush. Additionally, we have a $100 donation that comes in from Sakambu, who says, Neon White is also my game of the year, and I want to see more of it, so let's hit that goal. Couldn't have said it better myself. And let's see if we can get it done during this run, which is now ready. You wanted it. Here it comes. Neon White, White's Heaven's Rush. It's going to be run by Bladan. Take it away.